So I did a video on non-exploitation, what it is, and some films that are currently streaming on the Criterion channel. Now, when I first heard of what non-exploitation is, I'm not going to lie, my first thought is what in the Pornhub is non-exploitation. And, it sounds so much like an after-school special. It's like Father Carmine to pay for forgiveness. But, yeah, once you kind of dive into it, it's insane subgenre of film. But with that being said, I just had this kind of idea that dawned on me while I was prepping for that video, and that is that I think there needs to be yet another subgenre of films that really kind of focus on a more obscure type of film, and that is feet exploitation films. Now, as crazy as it sounds, I feel like this type of film already exists, and part of this idea came from I was watching a video on Brad Pitt accepting the award for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and he was thanking his co-stars such as Dakota Fanning's feet, and the list goes on. Margaret Roberts' feet. Like, he just goes on and on thanking every female co-star and then their feet. And he's just going to close up with Quentin Tarantino. And he just has this, like, not really a grin, just like kind of more like just like an irritated look on his face. But I can't help but think, okay, if there was a subgenre of feet exploitation, like Tarantino has already made so many films that would fall under that category. He, without even trying, has created a subgenre of film. I can't say it with a straight face. A subgenre of films that we should just mark as feet exploitation or toes exploitation films, because I feel like I haven't seen any yet, but I'm sure if I tried, I could discover some films that are very much, emphasizes in various scenes feet. Now, let's just run down the list of films Tarantino's done that would fall in this category. All right, let's start off Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. You have so many shots of feet in that movie. The fact that Brad Pitt thanked the co-stars and their feet is kind of funny. Now, it's no secret that Tarantino has this I don't want to call it obsession or this. Tarantino has this love or this desire to film feet, and it's kind of been like his underlining auteur, maybe, if you want to call it. Because, again, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, you have that shot of Margaret Roberts sitting in the theater, putting her feet up on the seat in front of her, barefoot. You have the scene in which Brad Pitt's driving in the car, and the girl has her feet up on the thing, barefoot. Sorry, Dakota Fanning, she's barefoot in the movie, and you have a close-up of her feet. And then, of course, you got to talk about, the one film we have to talk about is From Dusk Till Dawn. And I can't say this is for fact, but I've heard that it's pretty much like an ongoing thing that it's almost certain. Actually, I'm going to look it up and see if it's fact or not before I say it, because I don't know how true it is. It's just more or less something that's been, talked about forever, ever since From Dusk Till Dawn came out. Looking up on Google, this is a report. It is widely reported that Quentin Tarantino wrote the foot scene in From Dusk Till Dawn as a personal fantasy for himself before Salima Hayek was cast. Tarantino also cast himself in the role character who has the interaction with Hayek's feet. The script was written before casting. The screenplay From Dusk Till Dawn was one of Tarantino's first paid writing jobs, which he completed in 1990. Selena Hayek did not establish herself in Hollywood until 1995, and the film premiered in 1996. Tarantino has a known foot fetish, apparently, according to Google. As a result of his recurring foot-related scenes in films, Tarantino is widely known to have a foot fetish. And From Dusk Till Dawn, he wrote and acted in a scene where Hayek's character pours tequila down her leg, which his character then drinks off her toes. So he gets a whole mouthful of toes. So So that is not just. I mean, I guess it's very much. Well, I guess it's still kind of hearsay. I guess, but we're still gonna say allegedly, just so we don't get allegedly. That's what Google. That is what Google says. Allegedly, he does have a foot fetish, according to Google. But I think that should deem himself his own category. That should have started our own subgenre of film known as foot exploitation. So now that I actually think about it, there is literally almost every film has barefoot scenes in it, and I almost forgot with Kill Bill, because of course with Kill Bill, Uma Thurman, she wakes up in the hospital bed, and it's literally just a zoom up of her feet, and she's like, "Wiggle your big toe, wiggle your big toe," and it's just it is literally just a close up of her feet. Even though in that scene, I will give it to him, that very much works. And when I first saw that film, I think I was 11. I was 11. Even when I first saw it, I thought it was kind of weird. There was a close up of her foot, but it's like, wiggle your big toe. I mean, the scene makes sense because she was in a coma and she has to use muscle memory, kind of retrain her body. So it didn't really dawn on me that there was a foot fetish, like there was a foot fetish thing, or there was a reason why she was barefooted. Other than that, it kind of made sense. Thought it was a little weird, but it made sense to the story. But again, other films has Pulp Fiction has Uma Thurman walking barefoot. Of course, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood has numerous shots of Margie Roberts and Margaret Quall's bare feet. And Death Proof also features barefoot scenes. So there are still a few films that doesn't have barefoots in it, or bare feet, and that is Django Unchained, that I remember, The Hateful Eight, and Inglourious Basterds are probably the only three films that don't have bare feet in them that I remember. I mean, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think those three films he has barefoot. Yeah, so it's not all of his films have bare feet of his female leads or female characters, but it is a good chunk of them, enough where I guess people have come to this conclusion that he has a thing for feet, or allegedly has, foot fetish. So with that being said, I think there's enough films, though, that we should just kind of create a subgenre of feet exploitation, and I'm sure that the internet can help me figure out what other films have close-up of feet that we could add to this subgenre of films. So with that being said, for this video, I am asking for you to comment below on every and any film that you know of that has a close-up of bare feet, or a film that emphasizes feet and toes. Comment below, let me know, because I am sure that we can make a subgenre out of this, because Tarantino can't be the only one making, films that having close-up of feet. I'm sure there are plenty of films out there that could help us create this subgenre of feet exploitation. There's got to be enough. So like I said, any films you can think of, comment them below, let me know, and we'll do another video following up with the top 20 films that will create this subgenre of foot exploitation.